I'm sure it feels weird for a lot of men in this world, and a lot of them probably can't articulate it or don't know it directly, but some of them do. But we are very out of balance as men if we're not living our lives protecting our women. Especially if you live in a culture where we're taught how to play games with women so you get what you want. You know, and it's all about these bling and the flash and the sweet talking, but it's not really about the real romantic connection. It's playing games with one another, so we use each other. One uses one for money, one uses the other for sex. We have an agreement. It's justified prostitution. And women hear what I'm saying, and they get mad at me because they think I'm trying to suppress them or hold them down. And what I'm really saying is take a look at the long-term consequences of the division that's taking place. You look at the TSA and the training taking place for women to allow people in uniform to grope them. And then the media talks about it. Oh, it's a big deal. It's horrible. But you hear it enough times that, yeah, so what else is new? You know, they never address it for what it is, a war on women. A system that is masqueraded as something that protects women is actually grooming them to go through body scanners and to assume the position. It's all public. The photographs are being kept. I've always believed that this deception, this whole thing about we need to protect you from the terrorists, so we need to body scan you, this has all been about creating a database of what people look like and perhaps other things, biometric information. It's not just about the body scanners and the cancer risk. And conditioning you to allow someone to violate your comfort zone or the comfort zone of your loved one. It's a collection of information. And you don't know who's looking at that information. So let's go back to this story about women being sent out into combat. And while we keep this in our consciousness, you look at how the New World Order has been using America to destroy itself, and how the things that are being done in our name are being done by a multitude of internationalists and secret societies that include China and Russia. While in the media, you just hear about the opposites. You're not hearing all the stories about how they trade weapons and help each other get to where they are today so they can express their own people and extract resources from foreign lands. I think there's a lot more cooperation between the United States and China in Africa. Even though there are some tensions and disagreements, they have both got to where they are today, risen from the dark ashes to where they are today by helping each other over decade after decade after decade. This includes Russia. Yeah, where's Putin to expose 9/11 or speak out against that? I mean, this is all a larger web of dark forces that are a part of another dark system which may be non-human, which is dependent on women being slaves to this empire in some way, shape, or form. And so when I look at 9/11, how obvious it was, whether you believe in God or not, I know there's an intelligent creator above all of this. And we were given a test. Either you could take a closer look at this and start asking questions, or you can sit by or participate in the slaughter of millions of innocent civilians, many of them women, many of them men, which are what? The sons of a mother. None of us would be on this earth right now if it wasn't for a woman. It takes a man and a woman, but it takes a woman 9 months, 260 days to bring us into this third dimensional reality from wherever the fuck we came from. And you have a planet of 7 billion people, not 7 billion men. There's responsibility that women have to create a world of peace and getting behind Barack Obama and assuming that he's for women when women are being bombed and raped in other countries at the hands of this government and NATO forces. To remain silent about such a great darkness. And then, now the concern which spurred the inspiration for this video, to send them out in combat themselves. White women to kill Afghan men and women and children. I mean, the portals of darkness are real and they are opening, and we are not going to rise out of this reality in a mist of smoke as a result of any alignment. There is information that is available, but it is about how the dark force controls us, and we have to face how the minds of men and women, we have to look at how, because of our biology and the difference between men and women, how we are manipulated in very unique and specific ways and turned against one another and directed towards our darker, primal desires. And I can feel in my consciousness the dark, primal desire of an unconscious man and an unconscious woman. And there's great debate out there right now. I've heard a lot of different opinions, and I would have to agree. I am not convinced that everyone on this planet that's in human form actually has a soul. There is great resistance to this idea of what comes around goes around, blowback. There is a great resistance to the teachings that we have from history about these armies that have gone out to pillage and rape other countries, to at some point implode themselves, and the same darkness that they inflicted on others at some point came back to haunt them. And it's like this cardinal truth that I feel beating within me, stronger than my own heart, a spiritual beating of a truth that those countries and empires that invade, burn, pillage, and rape other lands, other people, other tribes, curse themselves. Their women, their children, their men. We see the suicide numbers in the military. They're going up and up and up. And all these strange shootings have popped up all at once. Many of them with stories of multiple eyewitnesses being seen. If you look at some of the news reports, including the one in Aurora, Colorado. So if the agenda is to get rid of assault weapons, even though most murders are not committed with assault weapons, they're committed with regular weapons, handguns, things of that nature. But if they want to go over, and go after AR-15s and things like that, I mean, why the media doesn't understand is, I think a lot of them do understand what they're a part of when they try to demonize the Second Amendment. But they sit there and ask the question, why would an American need an AR-15 or an assault weapon? And people talk about, well, to protect us against our own government in case it goes rogue. But the deeper truth is that if they're planning this peacekeeping operation in 10 years, it's in their interest to get rid of weapons that are in the hands of the people that could possibly help us hold our own against a massive invading army. I mean, I agree there's only so many uses for an AR-15 in contemporary society, especially with the advanced technologies that have gone into handguns and all the other weapons. But they're not even considering this. They're not even looking at you're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars the Federal Reserve gave banks and corporations all over the world to destroy what we have here. We know what history shows us about what happens when empires go into a state of collapse, especially corrupt ones. Horrible things happen later on. And in this case, I believe they're planned by these dark forces that are operating on the earth, and that there is a creator that exists inside you, that exists inside me, that exists everywhere, that is showing us the signs all over the place. And I do believe that the righteous militaries of the future in the revolution, after this manufactured civil war, after the Russians are brought in, and the Chinese, and perhaps any other countries where they've made military agreements with, and other criminal elements, Zetas, human traffickers that have a lot of experience down in Mexico, coming up to work for the Chinese and Russians, abducting women in America, those organized crime groups. See, I see this vision strong, and it's happened before. So this is not being negative. This is a warning from Spirit. And it's a warning most people are still not ready for. But the righteous militias will be those based on protecting women. And I hear all this talk, all these people's concerns about how all these things could go down in FEMA camps and plots for depopulation. But where is the subject about how women are going to be affected by this? Where is the outcry about the zombie apocalypse programming when you even see the CDC warnings, you know, and some of the other pieces of propaganda, the news headlines? They often show a zombie woman, not a zombie man, but a zombie woman, or men and women, but always women in these horrible images. Walking with blood, you know, completely. Well, there's only one way to deal with a zombie. You shoot a zombie. So it's like, it's so obvious. And I'm sitting here pinching myself going, it's one thing to know this is going on. The pain has always been, this goes for other things as well, and it's knowing I'm amongst other humans that don't see this. Humans that will call themselves spiritual, or women that say that they're for, you know, the liberation of women. Where is a domestic U.S. activist group, all full of white women that are absolutely upset with the U.S. government at the cover-up of the rapes of the Iraqis and the Afghani women? You know, they put them on C-130s. The peacekeepers are involved in lots of missions in Africa. You know, they ship them all over the place, these pedophiles that are looking for young flesh, and no one ever sees them again. They're just missing. So there's being raped by soldiers and murdered. Then there are those that are just kidnapped and taken. Where's the outcry? I live in a world, let me wrap this up, where there's only one issue that makes people angry, especially women, that I bring up. And it's about what I see coming with China. I even told one girl one night in Portland that I met as we were in this conversation at a bar, and it turned out nice, and she shifted on me after I told her about some of these long-term threats. And she said, we don't need your help. It's you that wants to rape women. You are the evil one for even thinking that something like this could be in the works or in the planning. And that's what I'm facing. I'm facing a situation where I'm seeing something very strongly coming through my consciousness. I've seen it for years. For 5 years, I've had this waking vision of what's going to happen when they get here, and how it's connected to our past through karma, and how we can reverse it if we changed our ways, changed our vibration, raised our vibration, and started speaking for the women of the earth, and stopped raping the earth itself. This is all a reflection of what we've created. Everything to come is a reflection of what we have created and the truths that we have turned against. And this is why I'm here. This is my message. This is the most important message. We have to wake up while it's time. We are here to help people. We are not here to make war. We are not here to compete over resources. We are not here to fight and get involved in this men versus women, black versus white, Republican versus Democrat, Afghan versus American dichotomy. There is only one reason why a soul like me was incarnated in a body that was half Afghan, half white, and I'm speaking for both worlds and trying to get the whole world to understand what I'm saying. I was sent here with a mission. And to also go to the deepest levels of forgiveness. After all the millions have been dead in Afghanistan, I'm sitting here warning you, my fellow Americans, about what's coming to your country, because I don't hate you. I love the country I was born in, but I am a citizen of the planet. I am an earthling, and I will speak for all earthlings, all earth men, all earth women that are being brutalized by this draconian system.